prayer. So whenever Nirali prays, you have to be very, very attentive because her voice is so soft, right? So, but thank you for those amazing words in that prayer. And a happy, what should I say, Saturday evening to all of you. And I hope you had a great, great week and a fulfilling week, a week where you learned a few things and you stretched yourself. And so here we are on the second part of the series that we have launched on agility and adaptability. We had a gap on the 13th, which was because of the Valentine's Day. I hope you had a great Valentine's Day celebration, and I hope you wished yourself a happy Valentine's Day, because if I don't love myself, I can't love anyone else, right? So I hope you would have done that, right? So let us get into this particular series. And for some reason, I don't know about you, but I have not been able to, what should I say, access YouTube for maybe last couple of hours. I think so. There is some technical challenge with the YouTube team, and I'm not able to access the video. So I had a few videos which I wanted to share it with you. And let's go forward. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So are you able to see one screen or two screens?
Normally, it depends on how we are putting our screen. So what we do is
Okay.
on the right side window, we are able to see you. On the left, the major portion is your screen. That's the way we set.
Okay.
At least I set it up.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Right. So I hope your screen reads it is all about mindset. So just unmute yourself and say yes or no, because we should be on the same page as far as what I'm talking and what you are referring to.
Yes.
So is that okay? Great. Thank you.
Yes,
Because technology can be really funny, right? So at times what happens is I will move my slides further, but it does not move on your systems, right? So I'll keep on checking on this. And for those who are joining in this series for the first time, this is, I think so, a 5 or a 6 part series. This is part number 2. And my request is please slot time every Saturday from 6:30 to 8, because this is, in my opinion, a very, very important concept. It's not a skill, it is more in the mind. I think so that all of us, irrespective of our age, irrespective of our experience, irrespective of at what level we work, I think so this applies to each one of us, right? So, and I'm going to talk about the importance of mindset in the process of becoming the best version of yourself. And those of you who have interacted with me in the past, this is one statement I quote very, very often, that am I the best version of myself? And many times we are not the best version of ourselves. We play maybe a second best or a third best or a fourth best, and we tend to conform to the ways that the society that I am a part of works and functions. So if I'm surrounded myself with people who are constantly challenging limits, I will also challenge limits. If I'm surrounded by people who are kind of comfortable, relaxed, status quo, and easy-go-lucky fellows, that attitude also rubs on to me, right? So it's important. And in this series, we will be talking about 4 things. Number 1, the importance of having a mentor. And I'll just introduce that concept. I'm not going to go into the depth of it, because it's a need that I feel is something that should come from inside. And if I don't have a mentor, I may have a few blind spots that will remain as blind spots. Blind spots, for those of you who may not understand, are things that I cannot see. The potential that I have, the capabilities that I have. I may not know that I have the talent. I may not know that I have that capability. unless someone tells me that I have that ability, right? So mentor is so very, very important. A coach, well, those are two different roles that people play in our life, but I'm just using it interchangeably for the benefit of everyone on the call. Second, we will talk about being agile, and here I will explain the concept. What is the meaning of the word agility? What is the meaning of the word adaptability in as practical way I can. Here we will talk about cognitive agility, our agility to be, what should I say, flexible, swift, and have speed as far as our thinking process is concerned. Here we will do a lot of activities in terms of how do I zoom in to a particular concept and how do I zoom out. There is this concept of the 984th floor, right? So there is no building in this world which is 984 floors high, but as a metaphor, it is said you need to go to the 984th floor, zoom out on the topic, and then zoom in, and then you execute that. We are going to talk about that, and I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. It will be more interactive, and I hope you will also participate in that. We will also talk about change agility. It is an awesome concept that I'm going to share with you, so don't miss out on the change agility and the cognitive agility aspect. We may not be able to cover that today, but we will definitely do that next Saturday. And then how do I build my personal and professional agility? How do I build my social agility? The importance of working hard. Here I'm going to talk about some concepts from the book. What got you here won't get you there. It is a book that talks about the importance of 10,000 hours. I'm going to talk about some concepts from the book Outliers, and a combination of these two books is what I have created the content on that point of working hard. Right? We all work hard, but I need to work hard towards a goal, towards uh, a destination, to an objective and a destination, right? And then how do I ensure that I don't settle and I keep moving forward? Like the founder chairman of my company, Reliance Industries, Sri Dhirubhai, always used to say that do not rest on your laurels, do not rest on the achievements of the past. You need to move forward, right? So this is what we will try to cover now and in the next maybe 4 or 5 sessions, right? And I hope all of you will be on the call every Saturday at 6:30. We start sharp at 6:30. 6:30 means 6:30. 6:30 does not mean 6:31, right? So we welcome all of you. I know you may have been busy, but please try to make it on time, right? So talking about the first thing is having a coach and a mentor. So one of you, just to throw up that question, who is a mentor? If you can just throw some light on that question, who is a mentor in your understanding? Don't write it in the chat box. I would prefer to you to unmute yourself and share your answer. Mentor होता कौन है?
Who
I hope
guide us
I'm
on right way,
sorry.
who guide us on our right way.
Correct. That's a good answer. Someone who guides us. Very nice. Someone who guides us. So a person who guides could be a mentor. Okay, good point. Who else would want to
Sir,
add?
who motivates us and
Okay.
having a lot of, we can say, dedication and commitment, for whom he is a mentor.
Okay. Okay. So someone who guides us, someone who motivates us, someone who is dedicated is a mentor. Okay. Good. Thank you for those inputs. What else are the qualities of a mentor?
A mentor is basically able to assess one and is able to navigate in the correct direction where one wants to go. So if I'm lacking in something, he is able to pinpoint as to like I need to improvise on this, and then probably channelize and advise a way how I can probably do it in the most efficient manner.
Super, very nice, Nirbhay. Fantastic articulation of thought, right? I like the way you kind of put your thoughts into words and expressed it. Fantastic, absolutely right. Someone who will help us navigate, and that word is a beautiful word. And we need to learn more about that word, navigate. And I'm going to talk about it. So thank you, Nirbhay, for that fantastic definition. What else would a mentor do? So we have heard words like guide, we had heard words like motivate. He is dedicated, he helps us navigate, he helps us choose the right path. And we also heard that in case I'm not on the right path, he would help us to kind of make some course corrections. So some fantastic words. What more does a mentor do?
So he is having knowledge, competency, skill, and clarity in mind for the subject matters.
Correct, correct. But is it always necessary that a person should have the knowledge and the competency to be a mentor? Just a question, just a
Not
question.
necessary,
Not
It is
necessary.
not
not
necessary,
necessary.
but that will help.
That will help. That will help. Right. So, how do you differentiate between a coach and a mentor?
Sir, coach will give the instructions
G.
that is to be followed by a group of people or a person.
Okay.
And
And a mentor?
mentor, I believe that he find out the what are the inner skills what you a person is having,
Okay.
and he will advise or help him to come out with his all potential, that to do that things rightly, and what is good for his more taking out more output from his own, either by taking his sharing his opinion, by sharing his thoughts, by giving making the discussions like that.
Fantastic. Very good, sir. Thank you. That is again a very good way of describing what a mentor is. So thank you for your inputs, and I would want you to continuously think about it. And when we meet again next Saturday, I would be happy if one of you do some research and give us more depth into that question, that who is a mentor and who is a coach, and how do we differentiate between the two. As of now, for now, this is not the complete definition. I don't want to do any spoon feeding in this particular series. I would encourage you to check it out, but please do not Google it. Don't go to Google and say who is a mentor, who is a coach. Please don't Google it. I would advise you to watch some TED Talks on this. I would advise you to reach out to your seniors and check out, talk to people. This is one way of networking with people in the industry. So a mentor, and how did the word mentor come, right? And it's an interesting what should I say, history of the genesis of the word mentor. I'm not getting into that detail. I'll talk about it next Saturday. It would be good if one of you can also share with us next Saturday that how did the word mentor come up, right? And when did mentoring as a process start, right? So a mentor is a person. This is not an all exclusive nor an all inclusive definition. This is a part of what a mentor does. So I'm just giving you a part. We are going to build upon this in the next 4 or 5 Saturdays. A mentor is a person who is doing a particular role that the mentee would want to do in the future. So if I am looking up to a person, let us say Patel sir is my mentor. So I would in the future want to do what Patel sir is doing now. So he has been there and done it types. So it's like, okay, he is or she is a person who is doing what I would want to do in the future. So that is one of the many ways I can identify a mentor. Point number one. About a coach is a person who will give me the skills that I need to navigate, like Nirbhay gave us that word, navigate through this maze. And in these times of uncertainty, how do I reach there? And remember, a coach may not necessarily be as talented, as gifted as the coachee. For example, Ramakant Achrekar was Sachin Tendulkar's coach, but he never scored an international century. Check it out. The coach of Roger Federer has never won a Grand Slam. So it's not necessary that the person who is coaching you has to be one of the best as far as knowledge and skills and competencies is concerned. The coach of the Indian team, the bowling coach of the Indian team, is a person called Bharat Arun. And you don't relate Bharat Arun with some tremendous international records that he has to his name. The batting coach of the Indian cricket team does not have the records that a Virat Kohli has. So how would a coach of the Indian cricket team, I'm just taking that example, coach someone who is like a Virat Kohli, the best batsman in the modern era, one of the best that the game has ever seen. Right? So it's important for me, one, to understand that coaching and mentoring are two different things. I could have a person who both mentors me and coaches me, or I may have two different people who are mentoring and coaching me. But either way, it is important that I have a mentor, you have a mentor, and I would urge everyone, we are about 19 of us on the call, I would urge everyone to look out and find out a person who could mentor you and who could coach you. And in case you don't have a mentor, in case you don't have a coach, chances are I will not be the best version of myself. You will not be the best version of yourself, right? So mentoring is a process. And I like that word process because the outcome is not in my hand. The process is what is important, right? And we always need to separate the outcome from the process, right? And I have experienced this from my own life, so let me share it from my experience, that I can learn in life in one of two ways. I can learn in life either by making mistakes, or I can learn in life through a mentor. So what would be our preference? Obviously, you will say that it is better to learn from a mentor rather than making mistakes. But having said that, please remember, boys and girls, mentors are also tormentors. Mentors are also tormentors. They will be extremely tough with us. They will make you cry. And I want to check with everyone, especially the young boys and girls on the call, who is that one person who is very tough with you? Your parents can't be because of obvious reasons. Your teachers can't be because of obvious reasons. Do you have someone who is really challenging you, making you push the limits? It is called pushing the envelope or stretching the limits. Who is pushing you? Or are we confined into what is called the zone of comfort? A mentor will always push your limits, push you, push you, push you. And a coach is also a person who will be very tough with you. In fact, if you listen to Sachin Tendulkar giving his farewell speech on the 14th of November 2013, check it out on YouTube. That famous speech which made all of us cricket lovers very emotional. In that speech, he did mention about his coach Ramakant Achrekar sir, and he said that, sir, at least today you can say that well played. Imagine a person who scored close to 35,000 runs never got this compliment, well played. And check it out that after each game, after each day, Achrekar sir would make Sachin bat for 5 hours, 300 balls, 365 days a year. So if you want to be a Sachin Tendulkar in the domain in which you work, think about this and you may do your calculation. 5 hours practice. Are we practicing 5 hours in the area that we are wanting to build a career? Today, being what, the 21st of, or the 20th of Feb 2021, did you study 5 hours in the area that you are wanting to build a career, or you are already working in? The question I need to ask myself, did I spend 5 hours working on myself? So 5 hours every day into 300 balls, that is 1,500 balls. So 1,500 balls into 365 into 24 years. If you have practiced 1,500 multiplied by 365 multiplied by 24, that many balls, you will be the best version of yourself. Otherwise, you will not. So remember, they will be very, very tough with you, and be ready to have people whom you approach to be your mentor, and be ready that they will be extremely tough with you. You need a mentor. I need a mentor. We all need a mentor. You need a coach. I need a coach. We all need a coach, right? And as I said, it is a process that I have to follow and not the outcome, right? So let's talk about
I
the
want to
second
say
word.
something. AB, I want to say something.
Yes, absolutely, sir.
Yeah. Uh, your effort of telling this to have a mentor, and you have been talking this thing for quite some time, is definitely resulting into some results, I would say. And to me, at least three of the student participants have discussed, and they have asked in terms of understanding what a mentor would mean, and how do we find one. So there is some realization, some positive impact
Super,
happening
very nice.
of and
Yes.
these were three serious calls, and that's not a 1 or 2 minutes call. So I thought I must share with you.
Thank, thank you, sir. Thank you
And
so much. It makes me feel very glad. Thank you.
And the second thing in the mentors is Yuvalai has a vision statement, which is for the year, uh, this current, let's say next 3 years, which says that Yuvalai will offer mentorship of a period of more than 1 year as it may be needed for the students for their career and something else. So from that angle, both what you have been saying at Uvalai, at least one is we got some uh, inquiries or they talk to us, and the second thing is we are at Uvalai saying that we are offering the mentorship, or we will be
Super.
starting this. Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. More than happy to help and contribute in that achievement of the vision statement. Right. And I have three mentors in my life, and currently I'm mentoring about 26, 27 people at different ages, at different stages in their career. And I give them about 1 hour every week. Right. And someone has to be, pushing us. Right. So please remember that word, push. And there's this beautiful video on YouTube called Eagles. Even eagles need a push. So if you have got time, you may just go to YouTube and write this title. Even eagles need a push. We all need uh, a push, right? So and that's how we become the best version of ourselves. But thank you, Patel sir, for adding to that. It makes me feel glad, and knowing that yes, whatever we are sharing, there are people who are working on it, right? It can never happen that everyone will work on it. It's an ideal world. We don't live in an ideal world, but at least one of you, I'm sure, is going to take this and then move onward and upward in his or her life. The second is the importance of being agile. So as I talk about agility, tell me, what is your understanding of the word being agile? And unmute yourself and share.
Swift and flexible.
Fantastic. Thank you. Two great words, uh, being swift and flexible. So, Nirbhay, can you give me an example of a person or an organization which you think was agile in the sense was swift and flexible?
Our very own Reliance Industries, because when this Corona happened, I can give an example wherein like we switched from 20 exports and 80 domestic to 80 exports and 20 domestic in a matter of 10 days. So that is probably just an example wherein what we did.
So that is in the petchem side of the business for those
Correct.
who may not
Correct.
understand that, right? So thank you, Nirbhay, for adding that. Yes, so you have to be flexible, right? So on the contrary, can one of you share an example of companies or people who were very rigid and faded away because of their rigidness, or became irrelevant because of their rigidness, or being not flexible? There are a lot of people and organizations that I know that they think that, okay, my way or the highway. This is the we have done it in the past, and this is the way we will do it in the future. Right. So think about some companies or people who are not flexible, who are not swift.
Sir, every sales organization.
Okay. So tell me more about it. So every sales organization is not swift and is not flexible. Is that what I understand? Just to check my whether I have understood it correctly or
Yes, sir.
not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why do you say so?
Sir, because it is a target-based job, and they means make a person achieve their target, whatever the situation is, and otherwise they throw you away from the organization. That is their rigidness.
Yeah, I like that innocence in your answer. I just love that innocence in your answer, right? So, yes, in that sense, you're right, but they don't remain, most organizations don't remain rigid in terms of a product that you have to sell. You will have a lot of organization which will innovate and bring new products so that the salespeople can achieve their quota. And yeah, so while they would be rigid in terms of me and you achieving the target at the end of a period. That period could be a week or a quarter or whatever that period is. We need to sell, because I can share from experience. I've spent 18 years in sales, and you have to sell, right? So, in terms of achieving the numbers, yes, rigid, but most sales organization, most successful sales organization are extremely flexible in terms of bringing in new products and ensuring that you are in line with what the market is expecting. Otherwise, uh, you know what happened to Nokia, and they were thrown out of the industry because we as customers stopped buying because they were not relevant. Yeah, so good example. So thank you, Nirbhay, for giving that example of 2080 and 8020 in about 10 to 15 days time. So let's build upon the definition of agility, and I would want you to write down notes. Three elements, two of which we had Nirbhay sharing that. Let's look at the three elements that make us individuals agile or a process agile or an organization agile. So it applies to me, the individual unit, it applies to a larger unit, and it applies to even a larger unit. Just a second. Yeah, and sorry for that interruption. What is the third word? The three factors that build agility are: number one, speed; the number two, flexibility; and number three is being swift. And we'll talk about this in greater detail, right? So think about yourself. Are we agile? Are we adapting to the changes that the world is ringing in? Or am I, in my mind, still living in the pre-COVID times? Have I learned new skills? Am I in line with the technologies that I will have to adapt and learn in times to come, so that I can be relevant to the organization that I'm serving, or I will serve in the future? So three elements, please make a note of it. Agility has to have speed, it has to, the process need to be flexible, and the approach has to be swift. Swift is being nimble, right? And let me go deeper into this, and let me ask you a question. If I can take that word agility and add an adjective to it, the adjective learning. So what, according to you, is learning agility? Any responses on that? So what is learning agility? I'm waiting.
Sir, is it like learning on how to be an adaptable character?
Good, better, good. Thank you for attempting that answer. Um, Thank you for that honest attempt. Let's build upon it, right? I'm not saying it is right or wrong, but what do you think is learning agility? I want others to also participate. The more you participate, the more we will learn. There is nothing right and wrong. We are all learning.
So learning with the changing times.
Correct, Seemaji. Thank you for that. Learning with the changing times. But yet, my question remains, what is learning agility? We all need to learn with changing times. Most of us don't learn with changing times. We adapt to change more at a superficial level, and given a choice, we go back to our original situation. If this were to be a face-to-face session, I would have made some of you come forward, and we would have done an activity that would have given you in an objective, in a pragmatic manner, an understanding that yes, while that environment of change is there, I do adapt to that change. But the minute I'm out of that zone, that environment, and when I'm in my own zone, I come back to my original state. Only few of us are actually doing it on a continuous basis. But thank you, Seemaji. That's a good answer. I'm still waiting. Give me some inputs.
Learning agility, basically it's like you need to, during your course of your career and everything, there are some changes which needs to happen. You need to upgrade yourself with the latest technology or probably the new developments. So you need to be inclined to learn those, adapt those, and implement those for the further development basically.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. Um, that would comprise the word agility. So your answer absolutely fits into the word being agile, right? And the word needs to move from need to must, right? And do I need to change, or is it a must for me to change, right? And unless it becomes a must, people don't change. People change only when it is threatening their existence. Otherwise, people don't change. Think about this statement, and I'm making a very deep statement. People only change when their existence is threatened. Your parents told you to stop eating junk food. Did you obey their instructions? But only when the doctor says all your health parameters are going out of the window, we think about changing, right? We are still not out of COVID, but you step out, people are roaming around as if there is no COVID, right? So yes, unless it is on me, I don't change. So let me give you that example, or let me give you a definition. And thank you all of you for sharing your thoughts on it. When we talk about learning agility, it has two parameters to it. The two parameters are the ability and the willingness to learn. Learn from where? From experimenting and the new experiences that I get out of experimenting. So, two questions I would want to ask everyone under the sound of my voice. When was the last time you did something for the first time? I don't want you to answer. I just want you to think and reflect. In this week that is ending tomorrow, did I do something new? Did I learn something new? Most of us will have to scratch our heads to think, when was the last time I attempted to do something new? Hence, I'm not learning. The second question that I want to ask you is, the important word on this slide is willingness. Am I willing to learn? We are 21 of us on the call. All of us have the ability to learn, but are we willing to learn? Remember this statement that people do not resist change, they resist being changed. I'll repeat what I said. People do not resist change, they resist being changed. And when we talk about change agility, I'm going to talk about the change curve, which has 7 parts to it, 7 points to it, 7 phases to it. Are you willing to learn? And my experience is that as I interact with a lot of people from different age groups, different levels, most of us are closed mentally to feedback. They don't change. And the minute you give feedback to someone, that person will start distancing himself or herself from you. Hence, think twice before you approach someone to be a mentor or coach, because a mentor or coach is going to be tough with you. He or she is not going to speak to you what you want to hear. He or she will speak to you what you need to hear, what you must hear. So the question is, am I willing to learn? There is no doubt as far as the ability is concerned, am I willing to learn? The second part is, once we learn, then it is being able to adapt to the change that is happening. And I'll talk about adaptability in a while. And that change that is happening both at a personal level and at a professional level. And trust me, there are not many companies who grow. Think about companies that okay, let me put up a what should I say, a blackboard here. Okay, give me names of companies that have survived, let's say 25 years. 25 plus years. Okay, forget about companies because many of you are still college students. You may not know.
Siemens,
Okay, Siemens. Okay, great. Thank you.
ABB.
So when did trading
Reliance,
start?
Tata, Schneider Electric, General Electric, Bosch.
Okay, hold on. Dire. Reliance, Tata. So when did Tata start?
I don't know, but it's over 25 years for sure.
It's over 100 years.
1945, somewhere like that.
It's over 100 years. Tata is over 100 years.
Yeah,
So when it started, did they think of TCS?
no.
Definitely not. Did they think of Tata Motors? Definitely not. So what has helped them stay relevant even after 100 years is they adapted as the industry changed and evolved. They did not remain in their zone of comfort. Think of Reliance. How did Reliance start? What was Reliance's first business?
Spices.
Correct. Very good. Trading of spices. Did we remain in trading of spices? No. So you evolve, you adapt, you change, and you remain agile. That is what helps you stay relevant for a very long period. And you can check out, there are handful of companies that survive 25 years. In fact, if you look at the Fortune 50 companies, and you can do a bit of research and share your input with us next Saturday, which are the top 50 companies in 2021. Then check out the top 50 companies, let us say in 2015. Check out the 50 companies that were there in, let's say, 2010. And check out the top 50 companies that were there in 2000. So do a bit of research. These 4 time zones, the top 50 companies in 2000, the top 50 companies in 2010, the top 15 companies in 2015, and the top 50 companies in 2021. So out of the first list of top 50 companies in 2000, how many of those companies are still in the top 50? What could be your guess? All of them or only a few of them? What's your response?
Only 20 companies.
Only few of them.
Hmm.
Thank you for that answer. What happened to the major other companies? Now, these are massive companies, but they were not willing to accept that I need to change. They were not adapting to that change. They were not agile. You take examples of sports. How many cricketers play Ranji Trophy? Let's say Ranji Trophy, for those who don't follow cricket. Sorry for giving cricket examples, but I'm just trying to set the context. If there are 100 players who play Ranji Trophy, how many of them go on to play Test cricket? Only a minuscule percentage. Think of batsmen who scored a century in their debut match. Scored 100 runs in their first match representing their country. I'm not just talking about India, it could be any country. How many of these batsmen who scored a century in their first innings went on to play 100 test matches? Can you give me 5 names? I'll give you one, Virendra Sehwag.
Rahul Dravid.
No, Rahul Dravid did not score a century on debut. He scored 95 on debut against England at Lords.
Oh.
Saurav Ganguly scored a century on debut. And then we may spend the rest of the time that we have on finding these names, but we will not find 5 names. Michael Clark to add. So what happened to them? They had great talent. They had a great start to their career. But why were they not relevant for a long time? It is longevity that matters. It is not coming up and shining in one series and then fading off. Think of IPL. How many cricketers played in the IPL in the 12 or 13 seasons of IPL, and how many of them went on to go to the next level, represent their country? Hardly anyone. So remember, coming back to my definition, are you willing to change? And when you think of great players like a Virat Kohli or any other player that you admire, you will see them constantly changing. That is agility. Am I changing is a question that I want to ask myself, and I'm taking the liberty to ask the 20 of us who are there on the call. And remember, if I do not change, I will not be relevant in the times to come. So I'll talk about adaptability in a while. Let me build the concept of agility as we are on that topic. So remember, I'm just talking about one part, the agility. We will talk about adaptability as we go along. So continuing with what I'm just speaking, let me focus upon cognitive agility. Let's do some activities. I want all of you to have a paper and pen with you. Do you have a paper and pen with you, or will you be able to write it on your mobile phone?
Yes.
Say yes or no. Something to write on. Something to write on. It could be a phone, or it could be a paper and pen, or a paper and pencil. So what we are going to do is learn this concept of zoom in and zoom out. It is also called the 984th floor, imaginary 984th floor. So what we are going to learn is, how do I go to the 984th floor? This is just a metaphor because there is no building which has 984 floors. So it is just a metaphor for us to understand what is zoom out. What we're trying to learn is a skill that is called, okay, let me talk about the skill after asking a question to you. So first question to all of you, and I will give you 60 seconds to write it on the piece of paper that you have or on your mobile phone, and then I'll talk about the 2 words that I'm talking about. Okay, are you all ready?
Yes.
Okay, so the question on your screen, in 60 seconds starting now, write down as many words as you can on the piece of paper that you have. Last 20 seconds. Last 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, so just shout out how many words were you able to write? Just shout out how many words you wrote.
21.
I'm not going to check. So I trust that you will speak the right answer.
25.
21.
25. That's a good answer. 25 is a good number. 21 is a good number. What about the others?
17.
17. Okay, don't feel bad about it that my number is less than someone else. Remember, we are talking about being the best version of myself, not being the best in a group. I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about I need to be at the best of the potential that God has given me. Okay, let me help all of you understand this. And we are learning 2 skills in this series, and then we will roll it over for the next Saturday as well. It is, how do I have convergent thinking and divergent thinking. The divergent thinking is going to the 984th floor, the zoom out, and then converging. Convergent thinking is zooming in and then implementing it. Yeah, so let me give you a quick activity. Again, you will have 60 seconds, but here there's a twist. You have to shout out your answer before I tell you to do it. Yeah, so I'll give you only 60 seconds. And on the piece of paper that you have, I don't know how you will do it on your mobile phone, but if you can grab hold of a paper and pen, please do it. What you have to do is, on that piece of paper, draw a dot, like a dot. Yeah, so these are dots. Yeah, so you need to just draw a dot. And my question to you is, in the 60-second time that I am going to allot to you, how many such dots can you draw on the paper that you have? Give me a range. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. How many dots can you draw in 60 seconds? Shout out your answer before I give you the time to do it.
Uncountable.
Okay,
Infinite.
so I get infinite. What about others?
45.
80.
45. Okay.
80.
100.
100. Okay, shout out your answer. Don't write in the chat box because I'm just focusing up on the screen right now.
80.
Sorry,
80.
80. Okay. Okay, so
Infinite.
85.
so I get a couple of answers of infinite, and I get 85
85
and
to 100.
80, 45 and 100. Okay, so your 60 seconds to draw dots on the piece of paper start now. Last 20 seconds. Last 10 seconds. And stop. So for those of you who said 45, I'm sure you did far more than 45. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would you agree with me?
Wait. Yes, more than it.
For those of you said 180, 85, you did far more. What I did is I conditioned your mind by giving you some numbers. I said you have only 60 seconds, then I gave you a range. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100. Most of us, majority of us, 19 people on the call, would have got trapped into my trap. Remember that the environment that I live in has such a major impact in the way I think, on my mindset. And I love those people who said infinite. You could have just drawn a line. A line is an infinite collection of dots. Why am I limiting myself? And there is so much that each one of us can do. There is so much that we can achieve, but we are not even attempting, my dear friends. So that is what we are learning in this series. How do I build my cognitive agility. Are you there with me? For those who said 45, 80, 85, was there a learning in this small activity? Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Super, fantastic, right? So let's move on. With this learning, let me share the next activity, and you have 60 seconds to do this. On the piece of paper that you have, or on your mobile phone, think of a spoon. And what could be the uses of a spoon? Think of the various ways we could use a spoon, and your 60 seconds for this activity start now. Last 20 seconds. Last 10 seconds. And stop. Okay, so can I have some responses? How many uses of a spoon you could think of?
4.
14.
14 is a great answer. Very nice. So awesome. Okay, just shout out your answers. Remember, we are not competing with anyone else. We are competing with our own self.
4.
Okay, 4. Great. Love that honesty. For others, I hope you are doing it with me.
5.
5. Okay, no worries. We are building. Remember, our mind is also a muscle, and the more I train the muscle, the more stronger it is going to become. Now we are again thinking, how do I zoom out and how do I zoom in? So when you heard this question, uses of a spoon, you would be wondering, what are the uses of a spoon? That is zooming out. That is the divergent thinking. That is going to the 984th floor and collecting your thoughts and then coming on the ground, which is convergent thinking, zooming in, and then sharing your creativity, your ideas with others. Remember, boys and girls, we are living in times where the world needs creativity, the world needs innovation. And many of us would have thought of spoon as something to eat, spoon as to play a sport. Remember, we played that lemon and spoon in school. I'm not sure whether it was there, because when I studied, and that is many decades back, we
I
played
wrote Limbu Tamki
spoon.
competition.
Yeah, so we had that, lemon and spoon race. We had to put a lemon in our mouth and then a spoon in our mouth and a lemon on top of it. And then as small children, we were like walking, and there was so much of fun. You have to think out of the box. You have to think that there is no box. Cognitive agility is very important. Are you all with me? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So take out your piece of paper and pen, be ready for the third activity. You have 60 seconds to think of a paper clip and what could be the uses of a paper clip, what could be the various ways we can use a paper clip. Divergent thinking, convergent thinking, zoom out, zoom in, don't limit yourself. Your 60 seconds to do this activity starts now. Last 20 seconds. Last 5 seconds. And stop. Okay. For those who did not speak, who have not spoken thus far, how many uses of a paperclip? So I can see Ashwin write 6. Okay. So don't write in the chat box. It kind of distracts me. Would request you to unmute yourself and share. Okay, just shout out anyone. How many uses of a paperclip were you able to think?
10.
10. Very good. I like that response. Okay, do you all believe that if we train our mind, we can do more? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for it, because the answer is absolutely yes. But are we spending enough time on a daily basis to exercise this muscle? The answer is
No.
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 We are getting into a routine, we are getting into a rut, we are doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And remember, doing more of the same will not help us become the best version of ourselves. We will have to change, so I may remain relevant in my professional career for a long time. Otherwise, there are so many talented youngsters who start their career, but they disappear in super duper quick time. Okay, boys and girls, let's do one more. Ready? And I would request you to stretch your limit. Focus upon what we are trying to do. And this entire series, we are going to do some interactivities and activities. Hope that is helping you. So you have got 60 seconds to think about a rubber band and what could be the various uses we can use a rubber band for. So think of the uses of a rubber band, write down as many as you can in 60 seconds, and your 60 seconds to do this activity starts now. Last 10 seconds. And stop. So how many uses of a rubber band were you able to think of?
5.
5. I'm sure you said tie your hair. I don't have any hair left to tie with a rubber band. But yeah, I'm sure some of you would have thought, uh, uh, you know, tying something with a rubber band. So 5 or 10, again, we need to exercise this muscle. Cognitive agility, very, very important, right? So one last thing, and then I will share some concepts with you. Think of a brick, and what could be the various uses of a brick that you can think of. Write as many as you can in 60 seconds, and your 60 seconds start now.
Hmm.
Last 20 seconds. And 3, 2, 1, stop. So how many uses of a brick?
7.
Sorry, I could not hear that.
7. 7, sir.
7. Okay, very good. 7 is a great answer. Very nice. Did you think of did you think of brick to hit
7.
someone?
Yes, sir. That
I'm
was
just
on
joking.
first.
I'm just joking. Sorry, sorry for that. And how many of you have thought of brick to raise up a table? Some of you would have thought, not all of you would have thought of brick as something to keep books within that. So it becomes your bookshelf. So I've got one brick here. I have one brick there. And in between, I can keep my books. So I don't need to buy those stands from Amazon or wherever you buy from. There are so many uses we can think of, but we need to learn the ability of zooming in and zooming out. And that is something that I want to share with you. Let me share some concepts as we close the time. When you talk about fluency, these are some words that I want to introduce to you, and we will build upon this in the subsequent sessions. The first is fluency. And can one of you read what is written there? Fluency के सामने क्या लिखा हुआ है?
Number
Number
of
of ideas.
Right? So you had the number of ideas like 7, 10, 14, 21. So that's your fluency. So you can give yourself a pat on the back saying that I had a fluency of 7, 10, 12, whatever it is on the various questions that I asked you. Let's go deeper into it. Have you written down fluency? Can I move to the next point? Say yes, no.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. The second point that I want to talk about is flexibility. What is flexibility? Can one of you read?
Number of different categories of relevant response.
Thank you. Thank you, Priyanka. The number of different categories. So think of a rubber band. What are the different categories you were thinking? Maybe we only thought in one category, but there are so many different categories that I can think of. There is a very, very good video that I would suggest you to watch it on YouTube. For some reasons, I'm not able to play the YouTube videos from my laptop for the last couple of hours. There is this concept called mind map. Has anyone heard about what a mind map is?
Yes.
So what's a mind map, Nirbhay?
So basically, you convert the ideas and the things into your mind by like a tree, wherein like you create a tree structure where it has branches. Branches has different leaves, so that you keep it more. Uh, you can store it in your memory, basically in your mind for a longer duration, and you are able to recall it better because you are
Thank
able
you.
to visually
Thank
see
you.
it.
Thank you. Super, super answer, Nirbhay. Thank you. Right. So when next time you are posed with a challenge in your office, in your school, in your college, wherever you work, use the mind map technique. For example, uses of a brick. Now think of different categories in which a brick can be used. So Nirbhay used that word absolutely right. It is like a tree branching out. And I would suggest everyone to have some chart paper at home or A3 size of papers at home, lot of crayons, lot of colors. So whenever you're doing cognitive work, make sure that you are thinking on paper. Many of us, if not most of us, have lost the ability to think on paper. So I would request you to go to YouTube and go and watch a video of a person called Tony Buzan. Tony Buzan is credited with he is referred to as the father of mind maps. And there's a book by Tony Buzan. You may want to buy it on Amazon and learn how do you branch out, how do you increase the flexibility, how do I think in different categories? We do not think in different categories. We are more unidirectional. We think more horizontally. We need to think more laterally. Lateral thinking is a book that I want all of you to read before we come on this call next Saturday. At least you can finish one book in a week. Can I get responses? Will you finish a book a week? No responses. I love that. I love
We'll try.
Anand. All that you think is fine, but no try. Try is the war cry of the week. Remember, you cannot go to your boss and say that, boss, I will try to achieve my target. Sorry, you will get कीमा बन जाएगा आपका. He'll make a mince meat out of you, right? So read this book, Lateral Thinking by Edward D. Bono. It's a fantastic book. It helps us build our flexibility. So I have shared two words. What are the two words we saw? What was the first word?
Fluency.
Fantastic. Very good, beta. It's the second on your screen.
Flexibility.
Flexibility. So fluency is what?
Number of ideas.
Very good. And what is flexibility?
Number of categories relevant.
Fantastic. I kind of blanked the screen on purpose. Anyway, so third, and we are going to build upon this, is originality. Can one of you read what is written in front of originality?
Unique, different but relevant ideas.
Now, I would thank you, sir, for reading that. I would encourage all of you listening to me is to tonight, once you are done for the day, once you have had your dinner, once you are kind of relaxed, think of this activity. Take out that piece of paper and check your fluency, check your flexibility, and check how many ideas were original ideas. Rubber band to tie something is not original. But what are the original ideas that you are developing in your mind? The more original ideas that we develop, the better we will be placed to progress in a life. Remember, one of the skills that will help each one of you progress in your careers is creativity and innovation. And let me share with you what are the future skills that are in demand. Let me zoom in on a few. And this is a research done, and the top 100 CEOs of Fortune 100 companies were interviewed and asked a question: what are the skills in demand and what is the supply of those skills? So I can be in a category which I called the surplus society. The STEM skills, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and maths, now is in surplus society. What is surplus society? More and more colleges are teaching more and more of the same to the students. More and more students, when they come to work, can do more and more of the same. More and more companies are producing more and more of the same kind of products. I cannot be in the surplus society. I need to be in this particular quadrant. That quadrant says these are the skills in demand, but the supply is less. And one of them is creativity and innovation. I'm just introducing some concepts that hopefully will help some of you. It is the cognitive agility that will help you progress in life. If I cannot come out with unique ideas, I will struggle in my life. And especially young boys and girls, you need to get this in your head. The future belongs to people who can solve problems, who have leadership skills, who are able to adapt, who are agile, who can innovate. Yeah, so we learned three things. What are the three things that we learned? Originality, check your originality. Second is
Fluency.
Flexibility.
flexibility and fluency. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And I gave you the definition of agility. Agility has three parts to it: speed, flexibility, and swiftness. Then we learned what is learning agility. It is my ability to learn and my willingness to learn. Learn from where? From new experiences. And then I apply those experiences or apply those learnings that I've got from experimenting. Right. So that's it from my side. I would want to keep some time as buffer for some question answers that you may have. This is very important, and hopefully I will get to see you next Saturday, and we start at 6:30. So how many of you loved and liked what I shared with you? Did it make sense to you? You may want to raise your hand and say, it stretched your thinking.